Dustin smiled before he continued, I'll be leaving Millsburg in a few days to deal with some matters. Cornelius will be standing in for me while I'm gone. What? Leave Millsburg? Cornelius was taken aback by the news. Sir Reese, what is it that you need to deal with? You can just get us to do it for you. Why do you need to go personally? This isn't something you can help me with. I need to do this myself. Dustin shook his head. Ever since he learned about Cinna's condition, he couldn't stay put anymore. He planned to go straight to Oak Vale after handling Hector's funeral. He wanted to cure him and find out the truth about what happened back then. Sir Reese, you're our leader. What will we do without you? Slythorn's guildmaster asked. Kirene Gang is on the right track, and it doesn't matter whether I'm here. Besides, if anything were to happen, Cornelius is more than capable of handling them. As Dustin spoke, he pulled out a pill and handed it to Cornelius. This is Gerandium. I made this personally. It can boost your cultivation. It's likely that you'll be able to reach the level of Grandmaster very soon with the help of it. Gerandium. Cornelius looked excitedly at the blue pill in front of him. Gerandium was a rare and precious medicine, and it was the dream of many martial artists to get their hands on one. It was said that one had a high chance of reaching the level of Grandmaster once they consumed it. Many people were halfway to becoming a Grandmaster. But people who had become a Grandmaster were few and far between. The biggest reason for that was that they lacked a boost to push them to the Grandmaster level. Cornelius, for example, had been stuck where he was for more than 10 years, and he still hadn't broken through to the level of Grandmaster. The obstacle had stumped him so much that he was so fixed on it. But with Gerandium, he'd have a 50% chance of breaking through and becoming a Grandmaster. He was so close to success. The Gerandium was such a timely gift. Why are you just staring? Go on, it. Dustin pushed the pill closer to Cornelius, an indication for him to take it. This is too precious, Sir Reese. You should keep it. I cannot accept something so precious. After returning to his senses, Cornelius refused the pill, appearing fearful. Gerandium was considered a priceless treasure to martial artists. Even if they had the money, they would not be able to get their hands on it due to its rare nature. Although he longed for it, he felt unworthy of it. What do you mean you cannot accept it? You are like a brother to me. If I say you can have it, then you're worthy of it. I have no use of it anyway. As Dustin spoke, he pushed the Gerandium into Cornelius' hands. The Kirene Gang will need a lot more assistance from you. The more powerful you are, the greater your help will be to me. So I'm not just helping you but also helping myself. Sir Adler, Sir Reese means well. Just take it. Yeah, if you manage to become a Grandmaster, the entire Kirene Gang will benefit greatly from it. The Guildmasters all began persuading Cornelius to take the Gerandium. Thank you for your generosity, Sir Reese. Cornelius bowed and declared sincerely, I will give my life to serve you, Sir Reese. I swear I'll do anything for you. All right. I believe you. Dustin reached out, gesturing for him to straighten up. Though Gerandium was rare, Dustin deemed it worthy for his men to use. This isn't just for Cornelius. All of you have a part in this, too. Dustin looked around and said with a smile, when you reach a bottleneck in your cultivation, I'll give each of you a Gerandium. What? One each. A clamor broke out in the meeting room. All the guildmasters were excited to hear that. It would be a lie to say that they weren't envious of Cornelius for receiving the Gerandium. After all, it wasn't every day that they came by such a rare and precious pill. But Dustin's promise turned their envy into surprise. So it turns out that all of them had a part in it. No one would be left behind. Dustin's fairness gained him the respect and admiration of everyone present. Thank you, Sir Reese. From now on, we will do our best to serve you. All the guildmasters bowed to Dustin respectfully. We're all brothers. There's no need to be so polite. Dustin then gestured for everyone to straighten up. There isn't much I can offer. But if there's one thing I can promise you, it's that in the future, we will always have each other's back. We'll share each other's joys, and help each other through tough times. Dustin's simple declaration lifted everyone's spirits. They felt that it was their honor to have such a talented, capable, and understanding leader. They were sure that under Dustin's leadership, the Kireen gang would have a bright future ahead. Sir Reese, Ms. Harmon has come round. Just then, a female disciple of the Kireen gang entered the meeting room. She's awake. Dustin was shocked to hear that. He immediately got up and headed out. Sir Reese, Ms. Harmon is no longer in her room. She went to the House of Heroes just a while ago, the female disciple added. So, she knows. Dustin's expression became grave. I guess so. She nodded. All right, you may all be dismissed. There's no need to keep an eye on her anymore. Dustin took a deep breath before he headed to the House of Heroes. Hector's body was placed there. Dustin wasn't sure if Natasha could take it when she saw Hector's body. When Dustin walked into the House of Heroes, he found Natasha kneeling beside the coffin silently. She was so still that she looked like she was frozen. She wasn't crying or wailing. The House of Heroes was deathly silent. Natasha. Dustin's expression became grave as he rushed up to Natasha. Her face was tear-streaked, her expression blank, and her eyes dull. She looked like she had lost all the life within her. What's wrong, Natasha? Dustin was flustered when he saw how odd she was behaving. He would have understood if Natasha had been weeping. But seeing how bewildered and disoriented she was told him that something was wrong. Don't scare me, Natasha. Look at me. Dustin crouched down in front of Natasha and held her face in his hands as he called her name repeatedly. Dustin. After quite some time, Natasha seemed to snap back to the present. Her eyes gradually focused on Dustin. When she saw who it was, something seemed to snap within her. She suddenly broke down in tears. She buried herself into Dustin's embrace and began crying loudly. Tears rained down uncontrollably. All her pent-up emotions were finally released. Go on, let it all out. You'll feel better after crying. Dustin held her tightly as he patted her lightly on the back. He knew that words of consolation were just empty words to her at this point. Nobody could share her pain of losing her father. The only thing he could do for her now was to be by her side. Natasha had to get through the pain in her heart by herself. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Hector's funeral was over. His remains were stored in the Harmon's ancestral altar, where others could visit him. So much had happened to the Harmons that the large and influential family was on the verge of falling apart. After the funeral, Andrew, who had stepped down as head of the family, called for a family meeting. Everyone from the Harmon family was expected to be present. At that moment, Andrew sat at the main seat in the Harmons' meeting room. He held a cane in his hands with a grave expression. The important members of the Harmon family sat on both sides of him. Hector and Trent were dead, and Jacob was nowhere to be found. All his 3 sons were either dead or missing, and the family had other problems to deal with, too. The Harmon family was now without a leader, and there was also no unity between them. They were in dire straits. Andrew had only stepped out to oversee the situation because he saw no other way. I believe everyone is aware of everything that has occurred in the family recently. We've lost many of us. But the dead are gone, and the living must go on. We have to get back on our feet fast. The Harmon family is currently in a critical situation. If we do not unite, the entire family will go down. Andrew's speech stunned everyone. Sir, we understand that we're all in this together. But, without a leader leading the family, and with all the consecutive misfortunes that we've faced, it'd be difficult for us to rise from the ashes. Exactly. The traitors have run off with our money recently. A large part of the Harmon fortune has been stolen from us, and many more out there have their eyes on us in these difficult times. The Harmon family is doomed. He's right. From how I see it, we might as well split whatever is left among ourselves and part ways. This is the best way out for us.